Today I'm going to answer a new question. The question is, meditation is a struggle for me. Does it get easier the more you do it? So again, meditation is a struggle for me. It's difficult. Does it get easier the more you do it? And the answer is yes, it does get easier. Meditation is not just a practice, but in its most basic form, it's just the intention of being yourself. It's a really simple way to describe it, I would say. It's the active intention to be yourself in any given moment. And what that means is stepping outside of the mental noise and mental trajectory that we're almost all living in. So almost all of us are living in a kind of linear state of thinking about where we're going, what we want, what we have to do next, constantly in our minds, maybe thinking about the past, worried about something we said, worried about future possibilities, what could happen. And that's how we spend almost all our time, just kind of in this mind stream of constant ping, 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 this. In all of that, where is real experience? Where's the present moment of what is around you, what is happening? Not what could be happening or what did happen, but what is happening right now. And getting out of that mind stream and connecting to the experience of what is happening right now is getting into the real self. So as you get out of the mind stream and come into the self, the present moment, the actual experience of what's happening, not only do you experience clearly this more presently the events that are happening around you, but there's also a sense of vibrancy or life that you can feel is what you are, is yourself. And that's beyond your personal self. It's a universal experience of the essence of being, of consciousness. The fact that I know that I feel it, and that I know that if you look within, at some point you'll feel it when you get out of your head, points to some universal experience, universal essence that we come to perceive as who or what we are, something beyond the individual, and yet intimately individual, intimately personal. So what you come to experience as you move out of that mental stream of thinking, of what's next, where you're going, etc., and you come into an experience of what it is to be in this moment. You come to an experience of self, of like an authentic nature. It's something that feels very alive. And as you do that, you can sense that there's an aliveness, a quality of liveliness in everything around you, which is a very strange and sort of transcendent thing to say, that yes, you can feel that there's like a qualitative presence or life, obviously in plants, in nature, in people, and even in inanimate things that are not alive in the scientific sense. They're not living things because they're not going to die. But there's a quality of liveliness, of presence that is in everything. And when you come to feel that more and more clearly in yourself, you come to feel that more and more clearly in all things. So meditation is just the intention. The effort is not the right word, but the will to come back to that experience of self, to come out of the mind and into that basic experience of what you are, of who you essentially are. And it gets easier because the more that you come out of that normalized state of constant mental activity, the more that you start to see that as very dysfunctional and pretty insane. And the less you want to live in that constant mind stream, the more you feel the life of this presence, of this being that you are, and the more you're just attracted to keep living in that. So it becomes something that you're not just doing as a practice. It's not that you go and meditate at these times to improve your life in some conceptual or theoretical way. It's really like, whoa, what have I been living in? What is all of this constant mind activity that everybody's functioning in, that all of our systems are created out of. What the heck is going on around me? And how can I get out of that into this kind of awesome, really present, just alive experience of being that you can sense underneath everything? So the more you get out of the mind, the less you want to be in it. And in that sense, the easier it becomes just to jump into this direct experience of being what you are. The more kind of exciting it becomes too, the more pleasant it becomes. And yes, the easier it becomes. That said, as you come into the self more deeply, you're also inviting all of your baggage up. You're inviting everything repressed in you to come up. And that dimension of coming into the self is not pleasant. A lot of times it's easy in the sense that it's like natural. You're just going through emotions, but it's not light necessarily. There might be really heavy things that come up, and it might like not be easy in the sense of like, this is a vacation. But there's an ease underlying it as you keep coming into that experience of being what you are. So if you're just starting meditation, this is all quite esoteric, and you're just thinking, okay, I sit down and I try to quiet my mind. I try to find some experience of something that isn't my mind, and I can't make my thoughts stop, and I'm just caught up in constant activity. So if that's where you are, yeah, as you continue to sit and just have the gentle intention, it's not an effort. You don't have a goal. You're not trying to force something. You're just saying, in this moment, what do I feel? Can I feel me? What is the me that is not my mind? Do I have some experience of being? And as you continue that gentle question and that gentle intention, letting all the thoughts and all the things that feel like pressures that you have to attend to mentally, letting them be on the side and just seeing, is there something else here that isn't all of that? Is there just a basic experience of this moment? As you continue to ask that question, you will come to feel some quality of being, some quality of that moment that you can find in every moment when you come back to that basic question. Again, not a mental question, but it's just an internal asking, what is this moment? What do I feel right now? And yeah, as you continue to ask that question with intention over different periods of meditation or just through your day-to-day, it does become a lot easier to come back to that internal sense of rootedness and being and that quality of aliveness. And it becomes easier to let go of this mind stream that has us so sucked into it globally. And it does start with intention, because if you don't have that intention, that explicit intention in the beginning, although it eventually becomes much more natural to not be so much in your head, you're so in it. If you're a normal human being right now on the planet, you're so in that mind stream that it's like second nature now to be absorbed in it that way. And to get out of it is a sort of withdrawal process. So in the beginning, you do have to make a very clear intention of like, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to see what comes up. It's an intention. It is clear. It is explicit. It's not really an effort, because what you're connecting to is the effortless sort of quality of what you are. So I know that may sound like sort of a contradiction if you're listening to this from a mental space, but like flexing a muscle, if you get in touch with it, if you feel it viscerally, you'll see that the contradiction isn't really a contradiction. It's just like, get in touch with this quality of ease, and do make an intention to do so and get out of that mind stream. So play around with that and see what that feels like for you. And yes, it will get easier with time.